Thank you for joining us for Working Through the Word, a ministry of the Richmond Church of Christ. Let's join our pulpit minister, Mike Johnson, as he brings today's lesson.
It is likely true that you have heard this phrase, maybe even you've used it before. When all has been said and done, there is often more said than done. And you think about that for a minute. Now, eventually, there's another phrase that I want to use as we continue to think about the seven wonders of the world. And eventually, here is what needs to be said. Put your money where your mouth is. We are considering 7 great questions that everyone needs to ask. These are 7 questions that relate to the spiritual condition that one has with God. Now, it is pretty obvious to me that we are sitting in a room and we have people online with us who are spiritually minded people. You are here because you have a bent toward being and doing that which is spiritual. All of us ebb and flow. There are times that we're more spiritually minded and times when we are less spiritually minded. But I rather doubt that there's anybody here today or online who ever gets to the point where spiritual things are not a part of your life. You don't want it anymore. You have no desire for it. We are spiritually minded people. But we're all in different places. And so all of these questions that we need to ask, at least 1 or 2 of them will apply to every single person as we move through all 7. Today we come to question number 5. When can I start this spiritual journey? Or when should I start this spiritual journey? Now, to understand this question, we need to make sure that we see all that has already been said. And it is something that has been said in these lessons. And these are things that every single person needs to say. When all has been said and done, here is all that we have said so far. I hope it is that which you have said or will say for yourself. The first question, who am I? Who am I in the sight of God? I need to know, number 1, that in the sight of God, I'm a sinner. I've done things that are wrong. I've not completely done everything that I should have done. I've failed in some things. My life, yes, as a sinner. Romans chapter 3 and verse 23, all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. And in chapter 6 and verse 23, the wages of that sin is death. That's who I am. Who I am. Well, maybe you've already acknowledged that. You acknowledge the fact. You said, yes, I know who I am, a sinner. Then you need to say, what do I need? Being a person who is a sinner and under the penalty of death, what do I need? Well, I need something that I cannot provide myself. I need a mediator. I need to have someone stand between. I need someone on my behalf to say, I will help you. Paul reminded Timothy in 1 Timothy 2 and in verse 5, there is one mediator between God and man, the man, Jesus Christ. I need Jesus. You need Jesus. Because He can do for us what we cannot do for ourselves. Now maybe you have already said, I need Jesus. But maybe you are one that needs to say, so now, why am I here? Why am I in the position I am? I am here for one reason. Romans 5 and verse 8, God commends His love toward us in that while we were sinners, Christ died for us. When we were still sinners, God loved us. I am here because God loved me. And in loving me, He provided for me that mediator. And therefore, I am here to honor the one who loves me. I need to ask myself, if that's why I am here, am I loving God? Am I returning to God the love that He gave to me? Have I said that to myself? If you've not said that, I hope that you will ask yourself in your mind, am I returning God's love? Am I fulfilling the purpose why I am here? Number 4 then, when I have said I know why I'm here, the next question I need to ask is simply this: where am I going? I don't know how to go. I don't know the direction to go. I want to know where I am going. Paul said in 1 Corinthians 10 and verse 12, therefore to him who thinks he stands, take heed lest he fall. Am I willing to evaluate my current direction? Are you willing to say, this is the path that I am headed? If I look back over my life and I look at where I am now and what I'm doing, I can say, this is the direction that I currently am going. And I need to decide, am I standing in a good place? Or am I dangerous for a fall? If you've not asked yourself the question, where am I going? I hope that you will ask it of yourself today. But if you have, the next question that ought to come from your lips, when can I get started? I know as a sinner, having a mediator in Jesus, needing to return the love of God to Him, I know the direction I need to go. So tell me, when can I start? The context of the text read in Acts 8 is about a man doing that very thing. Philip met him. He was a converted Jewish man living in Ethiopia. And he had gone to Jerusalem to observe the Jewish law as should have been. And on his way home, he is reading from the book of Isaiah. By the Spirit, Philip went up to that chariot and said, "Sir, do you know what you're reading?" "How can I know? I need someone to explain it to me." And Philip got up into the chariot and beginning in that same passage, preached to him Jesus. Obviously, in that presentation, he told about Jesus being born into the world and how he came from God, as he said of himself in Luke 19:11, to seek and to save those who were lost. He obviously told the man about the ministry of his life and how he healed people and how he taught lessons and how he wanted them to learn a better life. He obviously taught them, the man, that those same people killed Jesus. But 3 days later, he was resurrected and ascended to the Father forever to be there. And in that process, obviously, Philip had said to this man, anybody now who will symbolize the death, the burial, and the resurrection of Jesus can begin that journey, can have that direction, because they are beginning in the proper place. And he said, here is water. Can I be baptized? Here is a man who said to his teacher, when can I start? He sounds to me like a man who was excited to learn about this man Jesus. He sounds to me like a man who was desperate to fulfill the life that he wanted to live because he already knew about Jesus, but didn't know who he really was. I know there are people right here in this room who know Jesus. There are people online who know Jesus. Likely there are a bunch of people who have already said, yes, I know who I am. Yes, I know what I need. I know why I'm here. And now I know the direction I ought to go. And maybe you're one who says, I'm ready to start. If you have said all of those 5 things, when all has been said and done, you've gone through those questions, you've answered every one, you've stated every one, you need to know that delay is dangerous. When can I start? Delay has always been a dangerous concept. Jesus told a story in Matthew 25 about a big wedding feast. And there were these 5 unmarried women here and 5 unmarried women here, these virgin ladies, and they were a part of the wedding procession. Part of their job was to provide light for the night ceremony. These 5 over here had their oil lamps, and they had extra lamp oil. And these 5 over here had their oil lamps, but they didn't have extra oil. And the bridegroom delayed his coming. Oh, we don't have enough. Give us some of yours. Can't do it. They were not allowed into the wedding ceremony because they left to get oil and came back and the doors were shut. Delay causes missed opportunities. In Luke 13, Jesus told about a man who invited someone to his house and he never showed. And finally he locked the door. And later the man came and was beating on the door and let me in. And he heard a voice that said, "I don't know you." His delay in coming to the house left him outside, forgotten, out of mind, because of his delay. But delay causes death. If I stay in the place of delay, it will lead to my death. In Numbers 14, God had led His people to the borders of the promised land. Go get it, it's yours. We can't. We're not ready. We're not able. Fine. Because of your delay and your lack of faith, you're going to be turned out into the wilderness and you're going to all die. And I'll bring another generation here. Okay, we'll go take it now. And they ran now after delay and lack of faith to take the land, and they were killed because of delay. If you have said, "I'm ready. When can I start?" But you are delaying what you know, you're in a dangerous position. When you have said all that we have said, and you've done all that we have talked about, it is time to do more than simply say it. It is time to put your money where your mouth is. It is time to do it. It is time. Now is the accepted time. Behold, now is the day of salvation. 2 Corinthians 6 and verse 2. What does this word now mean? Don't delay. It is dangerous. This is the only time I'm guaranteed. I'm not guaranteed another. Therefore, it's time to wake up. Romans 13 and 11. Wake up out of sleep, for our salvation is nearer to us than when we first believed. When you have said all of that, it is now time to wake up. It is now time to seek the will of the Lord. James chapter 4, he talks about those people who said, "Oh, tomorrow we're going to go to this city and do this or that, buy and sell and get gain." You don't know what's tomorrow. Your life is like a vapor, appears for a little time and vanishes away. Here's what you ought to say. If the Lord wills, we'll live and do this or that. Look for the Lord's will for your life right now. Third, James 5 and 1, he wrote to these people who were rich with the world's goods, and he says, "Go now, come now, all of you that are rich with all the world's goods." And he goes on to talk about you might be rich with the world's goods, but you're not rich to God. Find what is really valuable. What's holding you back on your delay? Why are you delaying? Is there something more valuable than what you know you ought to do? What's the real value? And fourth, it's time to say, I'm ready to be a slave to another. Romans chapter 6, I'm already a slave. Every single person is a slave. They are either a slave to unrighteousness and uncleanness, Romans 6:19, or they are a slave to righteousness. If you are delaying doing what you know you ought to do, you are settling to continue to be a slave to unrighteousness. But if you decide, I'm ready right now, what hinders me? Then you've decided to be a slave to the one who is the greatest master one could ever have, Jesus Christ. Maybe you're at the point of saying, I'm ready to start right now. When, like the eunuch, can I be baptized? See? There is water there. It can be today. Maybe you are one who has already been immersed into Jesus Christ and you're saying, when should I start my spiritual growth? Now is the time. Today is the moment. Don't delay. I want to leave you with the words of Jeremiah chapter 8. May these words never be said of you or me spiritually, as they were said to the people of God. I would comfort myself in sorrow. My heart is faint within me. Listen. The voice, the cry of the daughter of my people from a far country, is not the Lord in Zion, is not her king in her. Why have they provoked me to anger with their carved images, with foreign idols? The harvest is past, the summer is ended, and we are not saved. For the hurt of the daughter of my people, I am hurt. I am mourning. Astonishment has taken hold of me. Is there no balm in Gilead? Is there no physician there? Why then is there no recovery for the health of the daughter of my people? The seventh wonder of the world. I wonder, when should I start? Right now. So that the words of Jeremiah again will not be said of you or me. The harvest is past, the summer is ended, and we are not saved. Where are you today? I wonder, where are you in your spiritual journey? I have to ask myself. You need to ask yourself. And today is the day to say, I'm starting right now. I'm ready. I don't want to be one found one day not to be saved. We're ready to help you if you'll come and meet us as we stand and sing together.
We hope that you enjoyed today's broadcast, brought to you by the Richmond Church of Christ. We are located at 1500 Lancaster Road in Richmond, Kentucky. We meet at 9 a.m. each Sunday morning for Bible class, followed by our morning worship service held at 10 a.m. Our Sunday evening service is held at 6 p.m. Our midweek Bible study is held on Wednesday at 7 p.m. If you are in the area, we would love to have you as our honored guest. Thanks for listening.